Welcome to r/PettyRevenge, where we share stories of small victories over those who have wronged you. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel and for so many likes. Today's story is, Stupid Bimbo Scams Me, is dumb enough to brag about it on Facebook. So, my little brother dumps his girlfriend Shelly for a hotter one and stops paying her bills. Shelly loses her job a few days later and is in danger of losing her apartment. My little bro feels bad for her and begs me to find her some kind of work, any kind of work. I jokingly tell him that she could mow my lawn for $50. The teen I used to hire charged $80. He jumps on this, thanks me profusely, and calls Shelly to tell her the good news. Pretty much everyone on this street pays about that much. And yes, it's a pretty big lawn. I think the woman with the smallest yard on my block pays $60 to her landscaping guy, and my neighbor pays $75 to the same high schooler I paid last year. I paid him $5 extra because I asked him to sweep my walkway and get all the loose grass up. I didn't want to come home to that SH. So she uses my lawnmower. I give her a key to my shed. She does a good job and I pay her $50. No big deal. 2 GD days later, she comes to my workplace, says, "Okay, you owe me another $50. I mowed your lawn again." I scratch my head at that. Tell her, "Hey, I know you're having financial difficulties, but I normally only get my lawn mowed once it's a couple of inches higher." I pay her another $50. Chalk it up to Shelly being usual dumb Shelly and forget about it. But suddenly Shelly is everywhere, showing up at my office when she knows I'll be there and begging for cash, saying that she was in the neighborhood and noticed that the lawn needed mowing. Yeah, she actually did the work each time. My secretary points out that Shelly has shown up 8 times in the past 6 weeks. On a whim, I check her Facebook page and notice that every time she's just been in the neighborhood, she and her friends have gone and gotten drunk that night, taking selfies in some not-so-cheap clubs. So much for financial difficulties. I thought I was giving charity to a young single mother about to be homeless. I thought that $350 was keeping her from starving, while still letting her retain some dignity. F me, right? I email Shelly and tell her that under no circumstances is she to be on my property, unless I call her first. I change the lock on the shed that houses the mower, and figure this will solve the problem. The next day, according to my neighbor's story, Shelly stops by my house, knowing I'm at work. She tries to unlock the shed with her key, and notices the lock is changed, screams bloody murder and kicks things. Notices that my bedroom window is partially open and climbs in. Apparently she didn't find the new key, because she left through the front door a few minutes later, leaving my door wide open for anyone passing by. She ganged up on me when I got home, and started screaming that I owed her money for her time, because she would have mowed the lawn. What? I reminded her that I'd already told her not to come over unless I called first. She demands that she's not leaving until she gets her $50. I tell her she can wait all day if she wants. She then starts crying, saying she doesn't even have the gas money to drive her car to the gas station, that she was planning to use the money to walk into town and buy gas. I tell her, "Oh, so you weren't planning to go to big well-known concert tonight?" The look of shock on her face is priceless. I know D-well she was planning to go with her friends, because she was stupid enough to rave about it on her Facebook page. She pouts and stammers and sits in her car. I go inside and turn on the TV. It takes her about half an hour to admit defeat and speed away. So much for not having any gas. The best part of this was telling my little brother. He was stunned. He said he was considering getting back together with her, but this behavior killed that possibility. It's been a week now, and Shelly has called my office no less than 15 times, looking for the last $50 she claims I owe her. Note that this was from the time when she did nothing but sit in her car for an hour. But because I wasted her time she could have spent looking for a job, I owe her $50, and she wants it now. I take the call each time, laugh heartily loud enough to drown her out, then hang up on her. She lied about where the money was going. The second we learned the truth, the money was cut off. But she's a persistent little bee. This morning I got a visit from Silas, a well-groomed gentleman who hands me a business card from an attorney's office and says it would be better for me if I just paid the money, because he's offered to help her sue me for damages. It's what he does. I think it makes him feel good to take care of his woman. He can easily afford it. What? He says this is my last chance to pay up. For $50 effing dollars? What the F? He says that she has claimed I owe her several $100s, because she mowed several times and I don't have any receipts to prove that I paid her at all. GD. I tell him I'm astonished she can pay money for an attorney when she's broke. He says that when he wins this case, he will be billing me for court costs. Oh heck no. I put on my best well-mannered polite attitude and ask him why she felt it necessary to go that far. He admits that she came to him because, get this, he's her ex-boyfriend. Ooh, and not only her ex-boyfriend, but her baby daddy as well. SH just got interesting. I noticed that he says we a lot when talking about Shelly, and ask him how long they've been apart. Random polite conversation, you know? He lights up and says that they've decided to date other people, but that he and Shelly are back together now, and have been for the past month. Really? I ask as casually as I can if he was aware that she was spending money going clubbing and had posted several photos to Facebook where she was rubbing against several gentlemen, doing body shots, and even tongue-kissing another gentleman in one photo. He turns white. He quickly covers it with, "I'm comfortable enough to trust her. She's the mother of my child. You probably misconstrued what you saw. Blah, blah, blah." I quickly check Facebook on my phone. She's untagged herself. But like an idiot, her friends still have those photos online. I show him. He asks where the restroom is. I point it out, then get back to work. He left without saying goodbye. A few things I found out this afternoon, according to the grapevine. Silas works for that law firm, but he is not a lawyer. In the morning, I'm going to have to call them and find out exactly what he does, and ask them why they allowed him to represent himself as one of their attorneys. Think they'll be upset? Shelley and Silas are no longer together. I assume that, like I suspected, she didn't erase incriminating photos from her cell phone. Tonight, Shelley ended up on my little brother's doorstep and begged him for a second chance. She told him that she'd been living with her ex-boyfriend, but that she had left him because she knew who she really belonged with. He literally slammed the door in her face. Just FYI, Silas is not my little brother, and I am female. I think I get it now. In Shelley's world, you push a button and money comes out. Anytime she wanted to party, all she had to do was take 2 hours out of her day to mow my lawn, stop by my office, and she instantly got $50. Next day broke, mow the lawn again, pass go, collect another $50. I think she was confused and even hurt when I put a stop to it. Silas came to my work and threatened me with a BS lawsuit, but I think he was white knighting for Shelley. They have a kid together, so I don't blame him, but I could not resist seeing what would happen if I confronted him. Instead of calling, I decided to get up early this morning and go to the law firm where Silas had a job. The business card he gave me just said the offices of legal guy, legal, and law dude. You can substitute the names of actual attorneys here, none of which are Silas. As soon as I walked in the front door, I saw Silas sitting at the back of the front of the room. He looked up, panicked, and I swear to Zeus, he skulked out of the room like he'd SH'd himself. Went into an office and closed the door behind him. Now, my brother had already told me that he knew Silas worked for a law firm. Shelley had told him. He couldn't remember what Silas did there, but we reasoned that Silas couldn't possibly be a lawyer because he graduated from a 2-year community college just 2 years ago. The timing, you see? I asked the receptionist who that guy at the back was, and she said, his name is Silas. He's one of our best paralegals. I asked if that meant he could sue somebody, and she laughed. Yeah, that's what I thought. I asked if I could talk to him, and she said I'd be better off talking to an attorney, and that Law Dude and Legal were in the building. No thanks, I really need to talk to Silas. She said, is this a personal thing? And I said, well, sorta, and she whispered to me, look, Silas has already gotten in trouble once this week for personal stuff. Can you wait until lunch when he's out of the office? No. He came to my office, tried to embarrass me. No way in heck I'm letting him get off that easy. If I'd thought ahead of time, I would have taken today off. I could only wait half an hour for him to come back to his desk. Yes, I'm a sucker, but he stayed put in that closed office, and I had to get to work myself. I wrote a note for the receptionist to give to Silas. I'll be back at 12:45 on my lunch break. If you're busy or gone, I'm sure one of the attorneys here can help me instead. He showed up at my office at 12:20. He closed my door and sat down and looked like he was about to cry. He couldn't even look at me, but he mumbled how he was trying to spend more time with his son, and he believed some things that weren't true, and how very sorry he was, and how his life was falling apart. He said he was trying to get custody of his kid, but it was hard to do because 1, he was trying to go back to school, which took time and money, and 2, who is not a woman. His words, not mine. F. He'll make a good lawyer someday. Almost made me cry. We started talking about the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I told him how Shelley had mowed every few days, and I was refusing to pay her for the last day because she didn't do SH except sit in her car for an hour. He said that was his fault. She had called him while she was waiting for me that day, and she was in a panic because she had been seen breaking into my house, and she... Wait, what? He calmly continued that she had broken into my house, and she was all upset because she had taken a laptop. What? He said calm down. She put the laptop back, but she was upset because the neighbors had seen her climb through the window, and she was worried she was going to get arrested. I asked why she didn't just leave that day then. He said she was afraid that it would make her look guilty. Oh my God. He said that he had told her to wait until I arrived and to explain. She told him that she was going to try to get into my house once I got home, so that her fingerprints would have a reason to be there. Well, that explains why she was so pushy and insistent on getting inside. Wait, how did she put the laptop back? She went in through the window twice. She said she left the front door open so she could say that you left your door open, and that was why your laptop was missing. I told her that that wasn't a good idea. No SH, Sherlock. I really want to hit this guy, but I managed to stay polite and ask him nicely if he would mind telling the police that Shelley admitted to him that she went through my window. I omit the part about the neighbors saying they didn't want to get involved. I think Shelley brought her kid along a few times she mowed, and they saw and felt bad for her. He says that he doesn't want to make an already ugly situation even uglier. I remind him that if he wants custody of his son, this would be a good start. He says, I'll think about it. I resist the urge to get up and dance. Then this happened. A friend of mine that works for the town newspaper gave me this. Shelly got picked up this afternoon. She was speeding and got pulled over. Couple of things you might notice from that press release. She's not being charged with breaking and entering, because according to the investigator I talked to earlier, if I left my window open, she didn't technically break in. The cops are claiming that I had complained of a missing laptop the day that I called them. No, I didn't. I didn't notice anything missing that day. I wouldn't have known she was even in my house until my neighbors told me they saw her break in. I'm guessing this is to make the cops look less like idiots. I love how they called it an investigation, like they had actually done their job. Shelly apparently told the cops that she had temporarily lived at my house. My brother used to live with me right after our dad died, and he and Shelly dated during that time, and she slept over more than a few times, but she never paid rent or anything. It's possible she thought she could tell the cops some excuse about how she was my roommate. This peeves me off more than anything she did before. When she was arrested, she gave her mom's address as her permanent residence. I think she and her son had been staying there since Silas kicked her out. She made bail immediately. I would bet Silas paid it out of guilt, but I can't be sure. I do know that she left her kid at her mom's house, and that no one knows where she is right now. I really hope she doesn't skip town, but I wouldn't be surprised. Guess she'll owe Silas some money. I hope you love this story. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to know when the new video comes out.